Put a smile on your face. Place to place. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning to each and every one of you joining us here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Welcome indeed. It's Monday morning as we continue to give God thanks for life. I am Julian Skeet and certainly happy to welcome each and every one of you joining us. Those of you right here in Tobago, those joining us across in Trinidad, those within the region and the world at large. This is the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we want to thank you so much. Those connecting with us via Tobago Updates Television, those of you viewing via social media, we want to thank you very much for taking the opportunity once again to tune in and to connect with the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Yes, indeed, it's a beautiful Monday morning. And if you are in that mode any at all, enjoying the spirit of the season, I ask the question, where will you be next week, Monday, this time? Let's leave it there for now. Viewers, a beautiful and energetic weekend indeed as we look towards the many activities flowing into the greatest show on earth, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival Festival in full flow. And certainly right here in Tobago, we certainly continue to enjoy the celebrations taking place. As early as last night, the medium band finals are taking place here in Tobago. Trinbago take a bow. Congratulations of the combination going around the various aspects, various areas I should say, in Trinidad and taking that opportunity. If my information is accurate, this is the third consecutive year, certainly bringing the medium band finals here to Tobago. And interesting enough, the feedback and the voices and the views expressed, particularly by Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore and the Chief Secretary, who also spoke at the function, the Honorable Fali Chavez Augustine, clearly an indication some of the challenges that would have been faced in the last 2 years, that they have been corrected. In fact, an excellent flowing program. But we'll chat a little bit more about that a little later on. Certainly, we also want to say this was a Skinner Park kind of weekend. And if you were in a more formal zone for the titles, Calypso Fiesta. That kind of weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. Representation happening there far and wide. And most certainly seeing presentations from a number of our Tobago Calypsonians in the art form presenting themselves, not qualifying to move on to the final pick of that 10 out of 40, but certainly giving an excellent presentation and rendition taking place there at Skinner Park on Saturday. The energy was high and the atmosphere continues to be one of festivities, most certainly. But at this point, viewers, we prepare to head on over to News in 90 Seconds.
Thank you, Julian. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 5th February 2024. Cats and Jammers is the BPTT National Panorama Champions in the Medium Conventional Band category 2024. They played Rocket, which was arranged by Kirsch Ramsey. Second place went to Pan Elder Steel Orchestra, who played Come Out to Play, arranged by O.J. Richards, while in third position went to NGC Couva Joylanders, playing Soca Tati, arranged by Stephon West. The medium band finals took place at Bacalet Parade Grounds last night. Marshall Montano and Michael Tasia are among 12 finalists for the National Calypso Monarch, which will take stage at the Dimash Gras 2024. The semi-finals held on Saturday at Skinner Park saw 40 Calypsonians competing, including 6 contenders from Tobago. While the Tobago contenders did not make it into the finals, Tobago Calypso Monarch Dylan Thomas will be competing among the 12 finalists, having pre-qualified. Other finalists include Aaron Duncan, Brian London, Helen Francis, Karen Ashe, Chucky, Stacey Sobers, and Winston Gypsy Peters. The March Gras takes place on Carnival Sunday night at the Queen's Park Savannah. And finally, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection assured the public that no food safety rules were violated as chicken was disposed by the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company. In response to a viral video on social media, the disposal of the chicken, the division's Public Health Services Department conducted an exercise at Tobago's compound on February 2nd, disposing of expired chicken stored by other companies on site. Checks confirmed that poultry passed its expiry date and the exercise adhered to food safety standards. The division confirmed that TATCO informed responsible companies about the expired chicken and contacted public health for assistance in disposal. They urged other suppliers to adhere to the HACCP food safety practices. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Yes, indeed, bringing us the news and the highlights there taking place. And we want to go straight to that clip, that victory clip for Cats and Jammers, certainly continuing to represent here. Kirsch Ramsey, take a bow indeed. Cats and Jammers, as the news just highlighted for us, was victorious in the medium band finals that took place, and certainly those results being delivered just a few hours ago. And you saw that natural sense of joy and excitement. Here you have it, Kirsch Ramsey entering the stage there with the announcement, the full band, the entire team coming out there, certainly excited and overjoyed. We see the presentation taking place here from the Honorable Chief Secretary Fali Chavez Augustine and the Pan-Tobago President Beverly Ramsey Moore. And certainly this is also the band to which Beverly Ramsey Moore is connected as part of her membership in Pan-Tobago. So you know that this must be a tremendous joy happening here. And let's connect immediately. Biana, tell us, I understand you were in the mix as well last night. We're in the same space and we didn't even know.
Yes, Julian. Well, I was over on the greens, and I tell you, the atmosphere over there was really nice. And you know what I like about it? I'm not sure of the name of the rhythm section, but they had a vibe there last night. It was really nice.
I felt like the support was particularly good. And you know, when I made the comparison to what I experienced last year,
yes,
coming down on the highway, I couldn't get past the traffic barriers with the police. You had to take a stroll from about the junction there at Bagatelle or so, and then heading.
But it was a smooth sailing last night.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, it was really smooth. But you know, the cars parked along the way, and you know, police didn't have to direct any traffic. It was smooth sailing,
and you know,
that was really nice.
That's for me is quite impressive on the part of all those who were involved in coordinating that. Pan-Tobago, the THA, whoever the stakeholders were, so as to ensure that. Excellent indeed. It showed that we can function in that way. And I think in the address given, they would have also spoken to the fact of that new road being cut somewhere in the vicinity there of that car park by the Dwight York Stadium and going around the back of the stadium. And Biana, you and all, and I'm certain we would have all seen the smooth flow of the show.
That's so
I was very, very impressed with that indeed. The smooth flow that took place at the show last night for the medium band finals. Excellent indeed. Did your band win, Biana? Putting you on the spot.
Well, yes, basically, my co-worker, big up to Cadian Moore. Yes, that's his band, and I support him as well. Excellent
indeed. Shout outs going out to Cadian Moore, Beverly Ramsey Moore. Kirsch, indeed impressive. And I can't forget at all OJ in the mix. And I mean, indeed, he was so much into the song and the presentation that he literally stripped right down. But certainly commendations are going out to you. Excellent presentation. And folks, it ain't done there yet. You're heading straight into the THA Pan Champs that takes place tomorrow, Tuesday, as we continue in this carnival season for 2024, enjoying the celebrations and the magic of the carnival season itself. All right, viewers, at this point we're heading on into our birthday shout outs. And we get this started this morning with Cavell Mills. Wishing you a happy birthday, Cavell Mills, and indeed sending continued blessings as you continue to enjoy the celebrations. My very good friend out there, wishing you a happy birthday. Melissa Benjamin out there in Suriname, want to wish you a happy birthday and indeed continued blessings. I know without a shadow of the doubt the celebrations continue. All the best. On screen, we have none other than Delia. Delia Jerry out there. We want to say a happy birthday to you, Delia. And this is a nice kind of Delia and Clint combination celebration for the birthday. And we want to take the time out to wish you the very best indeed. I trust that you enjoy the birthday celebrations. On screen, we have Monique Timothy, as some know in our Rotary circles as our president-elect, Rotarian Monique Timothy, celebrating her birthday. And we want to wish you continued blessings coming from the entire Rotary family and even my very own family. Wishing you a happy birthday, Monique. Yes, indeed, our birthday lineup here on the Tobago Updates morning show. And we're running straight on over into our rundown for this morning. Our rundown for this morning, we're going to be starting the conversation as we start talking TADCO and the happenings. You know, most certainly the focus is there as it relates to activities and the minority, giving some indications of some questionable activities taking place. So we'll be chatting with TADCO a bit, looking into the poultry contract farm initiative. And we'll be speaking with Ricardo Alfred, chairman of the Tobago Agro Business Development Company, TADCO. This morning we'll also be chatting with Rodil Kirk, superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And we're speaking about updates from the TTPS, and we also looking forward to chatting with the winner of the Interdepartment 2024 Personality Competition, Dwayne White Jr. This morning, most certainly, we cannot forget the outcome and the experience and the energy that took place right there again at Parade Grounds in Bacolet. And Dwayne White Jr. is reigning victorious as the winner coming out there, and he's out of the division of tourism. And they won't forgive me if I didn't add in as well TPAC within the division of tourism. Certainly congratulations indeed, and we look forward to having those discussions as part of our lineup here this morning. All right, viewers, at this point we're heading straight on over to our first interview this morning, and we are chatting with Ricardo Alfred, chairman of TADCO. Good morning to you and welcome.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to Tobago.
All right, as we get started this morning, we want to start. We saw a video being posted as it relates to poultry and chicken being thrown away in droves indeed. Let's start from there in terms of some clarification being brought on the part of TADCO.
Right, so first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. But what I would want to mention with this video is that I cannot really speak on this video, because the video does not show any markings, nor does it identify the location or the vehicle number or anyone or any markings resembling TADCO. What I can address is the policy as relates to what TADCO is about and how disposal of meat and stuff is done. Persons have to understand that is only in 2022 we would have took control of the board, in which we would have reviewed some policies as relates to stuff. In coming on, I would have realized that we had some old meat and stuff that was on the compound from since 2009, 2015. And in our policies as relates to OPR and as relates to disposal of stuff, of public assets and stuff like that, we developed a policy in which we would have had to engage an outside person other than us to guide us the process as relates to health. And I'm very grateful for health in what they would have done. They would have come down and assisted us in terms of removal of these meat, because the contamination and cross-contamination of these stuff would have definitely caused some problems as relates to the disposal. So meat disposal is not anything new. As I said, when we came there was some meat that was in a compound from since 2009, 2015, and we could not have kept that there. So we had to engage health as relates to that. As to relates to any video, again, I can't really confirm or deny or whatever, because really and truly it shows no marking as relates to where this chicken come from, whether it is even in Tobago. So
So
that is where we are.
So I want to make sure that we have it clear. You're indicating that there is a policy existing now, or that would have existed previously?
We would have developed that policy as relates to disposal of stuff. We would have met all of the local and international food safety standards as relates to the disposal. And the only entity on the island that would have been there to supervise such a task would have been the Division of Health, in which we are truly grateful for.
All right. So we want to get a little more insight from you. Tell us a little bit about the status in relation to the poultry farm and the related contracts.
Right. So what is happening? Poultry farming is a contract farming globally. This is not something that TADCO invented. We definitely would have provided the inputs, meaning that to the chick and to the feed to persons that are on the contract farming, in which they would then grow the chickens at a required poundage. And then we will now take it back to process it to put forth to begonias. What is happening is that we're at a stage now we would have assessing some farmers in terms of what they would have been doing. Some would have been doing better than some. Some will be engaged and some will be taken off the program to ensure that those who are doing very well can push them. What persons do not understand is that when you buy a foreign chicken, the person who mines that chicken is paid already. The person who slaughtered the animal is paid already. The shipper from the US to Trinidad and Tobago is paid already. And then it comes straight to the household. There's no benefit in pushing the foreign chicken because there's no benefit in the local farmers. And when you have persons speaking about these wild allegations and stuff, you're not damaging the company per se, you are damaging the farmers, because we are about building capacity. Tobago last year would have been engaged in supplying a very popular fast food outlet with the same set chicken. Persons would have had the same set chicken in their household providing for their family. But then when you have these wild and people talking about rotten and smell, it's very disheartening. They are only damaging the image of Tobago. Our sales have dropped in December because of these allegations. And you are only hurting the Tobago farmer.
So one of the things we want to get clear, because some have raised some concerns as it relates to the poultry contract farm initiative.
Right.
Who are some of the direct beneficiaries in terms of entities that were previously involved in poultry farming and so on? Because some have raised the concerns that it has become competitive with some of those existing in the Tobago space that would have traditionally dominated or tried their best in this market. And now the THA and TADCO has taken a direction that seems to be highly competitive. I want to get your perspective.
So Tobago consumes on a monthly basis about 260,000 birds per month. When you have peak seasons, that number reach up to 300,000. Nobody in Tobago can do 1,000 birds per week. Let me just put that out there. Nobody in Tobago can do that. What this program does is assist the farmers as it relates to cash flow so that they would have a better cash flow to push and expand their business. We are providing the inputs as relates to the chicken, the chick, and the feed. And that person now, through the contract, will now mine that chicken based on a certain poundage. So I could give you 250 chickens, and you bring back 250 chicken. It's not about that, it's about the poundage. Because there's a weight to feed ratio. It's a science in based on how much you have to feed the birds at certain times to get the poundage that you want. For those who do not know, everything is down to a science. For those who are involved in the vertical farming, it's 0.75 hours square foot per bird. Those who are involved in the ground is 1 square foot per bird. It's a science as relates to what is happening. We would have been engaged by several stakeholders. We would have joined certain associations. We would have had numerous help from Arawak in Trinidad, Master Mix, in terms of assisting us because they too want to promote that local chicken on the market, right? And why persons might be having their own political sign, that is fine. But what you are doing is harming the Tobago brand.
How many farmers or indeed entities do we have currently involved or contracted within this initiative at the moment? And this kickstarted, this was last in 22 or 23?
Yes. This started in 22, late 22. So we had 63 persons that would have benefited. We would have had other stakeholders as relates to restaurants and a few entities that would have benefited as well. And what I'm seeing really is that as much as persons may not understand, if I can just give you some figures, to take care of 1,000 chicken would mean that you would need about $15,000 to buy 1,000 chicken. It will also mean that you would need between 25,000 to 30,000 as relates to feed. It also means that you would need a further 15,000 as relates to pen infrastructure. Plus you have to pay labor, electricity bill. This is not something that is easily done. And if we cannot feed ourselves, the Cabo Star had an issue. We were able to supply Tobago fast food restaurants and provide a sale during that period. So it shows that there's a level of support from the program. It shows to Tobagonians that there's a level of support by them buying it and bringing it into the household. But when you put allegations and put these stuff out there, and again, you are not hurting TADCO per se. You are hurting the Tobagonians. Because
as you mentioned that, something comes to mind very quickly. Have you had complaints coming and addressed to TADCO from the farmers themselves? Because I'm getting clearly what you are indicating is, let's put it, the political side might be, as far as you are indicating, it's not legitimate, and you're saying it's definitely only harming the efforts that you're striving to achieve for the sake of Tobago.
Yes.
But tell us, were there any legitimate complaints, concerns received coming from members of the Tobago public for TADCO to address?
So what is happening is that we would have addressed a number of issues among our farmers. Some persons had issues as relates to the pen litter, as this is sawdust. Some persons had issues as relates to flooding, dog bites, and other issues like that. And that's why we would have provided a lot of training as relates to the poultry, in terms even to the slaughterhouses. We are trying to get certain investments as relates to bringing the relevant machines that can do up to 3,000 to 4,000 birds per hour. And this is the direction that we need to go, because most of the persons in Tobago are doing stuff in their backyard. But what we are trying to do by providing this training is ensure that everybody has that standard. If we take TADCO out of it, persons will be still slaughtering animals or chickens in their backyard. And this is why training and a certain level of capacity building is important. We had the Lamb Festival in Tobago. Never before Tobago had these things. Never before, when a ferry or boat shut down, you hear no food stuff coming to the island, and we were able to meet certain demands, And it is very alarming. It is very strange that our own, and I want to say our own people, are speaking such ill and such filth, I would call, about Tobagonians. Because you're not doing the company anything, you're only harming the farmers and their reputation. That's all you're doing.
All right. I want you to tell us as well, to whom is this program open? Is it individuals in farming on this small scale? Individuals who probably seeking to thrive in the context of their business in the poultry industry? Who is the target for this initiative?
So we would have targeted persons and started with persons who can do up to 100. And then we would have pushed them further from 100 to 200. One person would have started with 500, and they are now doing a couple thousands. Keep in mind, Tobago consumes 260,000 birds per month. I mean, if we have to be sustainable, that is, we are, in terms of what Tobago is producing currently, is less than 10%. So you understand how wide that gap is. And any strategic plan is normally 3 to 5 years to achieve your goal. Everything is done with a science. Everything is done with a projection. There are some kinks in the system that we are working out. We would have had some, again, more allegations that TADCO sent home staff. And that was clearly not the case. You had a lot of persons that would have provided some stuff that didn't match what they said that they had. And we have to do the due diligence and ensure that we have the right person and ensure that Tobagonians are given an opportunity, not just because of who you support or who is your cousin or who your uncle is or whatever. It must be done with some level of integrity, and it must be done with some level of transparency.
As you mentioned that, give us an update in relation to the status. So we know that TADCO starred in the news as it relates to HR matters and complaints about going home and so on. Where is TADCO at now in terms of its engagement of a staff complement to be able to sufficiently manage the operations of TADCO?
So currently TADCO has about 50 workers in its cadre right now, as relates from the staff, even on the capital of Paradise. That 50 workers are working very hard as relates to building out what the company is supposed to be doing. We have an HR manager there now. We have a procurement person there now because we're trying to meet certain requirements. Certain suppliers that we are doing now, we don't have to be part of the OPR. We definitely have to build out that structure. And persons are there performing. And we have to give them that opportunity as relates to them doing stuff. Because you can't have a case where today you had 6 subjects and then tomorrow you have 0. Who would have done the verification to ensure that this does not happen? It is a level of fraud. And what we were saying, you're already given a contract and we have to fulfill that mandate. But now we are trying to correct the wrong. You have persons with very strange qualifications that nobody has never seen. They can't bring it in. And what do we do? Do we continue it or do we try to fix it? And that is what we are doing, trying to make sure that everything is aligned with what was there before. Tadco or Ricardo Alfred did not change the job description. I did not design what the requirements was to be a forklift driver. We have persons on the compound who doesn't even have a forklift, a forklift license, but the requirement to get the job was supposed to have a forklift license. What do we do?
So you're saying that you met those requirements there and this was just an effort to try to enforce?
Exactly, because it's a liability issue.
Any change, I know you mentioned in terms of trying to ensure that there's compliance. Any changes, modifications or improvements that took place with the re-engagement of staff specifically as it relates to any of the particular areas? I know you spoke about it in relation to procurement. Is it that did not exist previously?
There wasn't any procurement department at Tadco. There wasn't any list of policies. There wasn't any procedures as to how things are happening. Everything was based on hearsay. Contracts for people who provide the command, the bread and stuff was verbal contracts. We didn't even know what they were supposed to be getting. And we are now trying to have that written contract done up, that conversation with persons, and that capacity building as relates to getting persons to develop and put things in place. The capital of Paradise was done for almost 5 years at a cost of $100 and something US per day. I'm not hearing anybody saying much about it. I would have written to the police in March of 2022 as relates to assistance in locating documents for our project in Gosbert that cost over $8 million. I'm yet to receive any word on that.
That was my next question. So, has there been any updates?
There's no updates. But as much as this politics that we are pushing every day, I'm really appealing to the people, who would have benefited from some of these programs. Please do not get distracted. I am not getting distracted, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over any alleged video that could have been in Suriname, or could have been in Africa, or could have even been in Trinidad. We cannot be distracted. We cannot be. This is a Tobago initiative. This is for Tobagonians. I am a Tobagonian. I would have educated myself as relates to certain aspects of what I do for a living. And I am all about giving back.
All right. Just as we prepare to close this morning, can we look forward to some publishing specific to the facts? Because you referred to a number of things as it relates to the needs of Tobago and the numbers to be reached, and what is an indication that there is a positive flow with regards to this initiative. Can we look forward to some further information and statistics coming out from Tadco as it relates to this initiative?
Right. So what we are doing now is building data. So now that we had 2022 going, 2023 going, we definitely can have some stats as relates to what is happening. That's why I can tell you the sales in the chicken dropped. Is it a fact of what persons are spraying out there? We don't know. However, the facts remain that the sales has dropped. And we need to be very careful. As I said, Tadco is a development company. We cannot spend $62,000 on cheese to only make $59,000 per year. It doesn't make any sense.
Is that taking place now?
Well, we'd have structured the place in such a way that it is not happening. Because we are all about developing the agro-processors, the farmers and stuff like that in terms of building out some capacity. There are some obstacles. There are some people that are against the change. But we will push on and all will be well.
All right. Thank you very much there, folks. We've got to leave it there for this morning. But this has been Ricardo Alfred bringing us some updates, and chairman of TADCO, bringing us some updates as it relates to our most recent situation. But more than that, the happenings in terms of the poultry initiative. And certainly we look forward to getting even more of the statistics as it relates to the information, and giving us once again as the general public, viewers and listeners, an opportunity to make our very own assessment of the situation and the circumstances. We want to say thank you very much again, Ricardo Alfred, chairman of TADCO, for joining us here on set this morning. And viewers, as we continue and we prepare to head on out to a break, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
You want to be bad, don't tell you behave. On the road you behind, the jockey go be great. If you want to feel alive, then switch to the winning side. You see how we move in style, is a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe with Be Mobile.
Come and see what plan it could get. See what plan it could get. Come and see what plan it could. See what plan it could. See what plan it could get. All of the plan the best. All of the plans the best. Come and see what plan it could. See what plan it could. Be mobile. Top it up, 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 top it up. Only we buying bundles. Top it up, 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 top it up.
It's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe on Be Mobile. It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe with Be Mobile.
As you come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about them. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla. I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yo everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Stowbay, Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guaranteed, as we are matching or beating any quotations.
Carnival is here. But before you hit the streets, make your home the ultimate party zone. Standard says, make it stage ready, now for now. Get dazzling deals on TVs, furniture, appliances, everything to impress your guest. 10% cash back, easy financing, plus no down payment. Now's the time to shine. Visit Standards today. Let them make your home the star of Carnival.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations in studio with our guest. This morning we're speaking with Superintendent Rodil Kirk of the TTPS as we have our weekly crime update as it relates to things happening in and around Tobago. And we're also speaking about the TTPS Smart Campaign for Carnival 2024 in studio. Mr. Rodil Kirk, Superintendent of the TTPS, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning.
All right, viewers, we'll go to a short break and we'll be back shortly.
bad mind you and your glass. I feel complete with it. I don't just talk. We love me drinks to me heart and we say shots to the head, hit the liver. We drink plenty liquor. We don't play with it. We drink, we don't play with it. Send shots to the head, hit the liver. We drink plenty liquor. We don't play with it. We drink, we don't play with it. In my grey suit with the grey goose. Give them a straight move with the same moves. We can have me lit but me stay cool. Mix the whiskey with the grapefruit then. Punch the punching with the same movement. Head to one fet and match up two fence. Them a say me tongue something confuse them. And them can't.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers. You're viewing the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and I am Adana Kambi. And in studio, we're speaking with Superintendent Rodil Kirk of the TTPS as he brings a crime update as it relates to Tobago. Good morning, Superintendent, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning to your guests and listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us every Monday to bring updates as it relates to happenings in Tobago. I know we had a festive weekend, so I want to know how the weekend was in terms of policing and, general updates as happenings for the last week in Tobago.
Well, one of our major events, the Panorama last night, I'm happy to report that went without incident. You hear my voice.
It sounds as if you were very, very
Yes.
actively involved in the activities.
Yes. So it went without incident. What we could say that, in our updates over the weekend, our officers were able to recover a high-powered firearm in the Mount Thomas area. And, I want to commend the officers for the efforts. This is also want to commend the public for, cooperating with the police initiative. That is one major weapon off the street that about 19 lives seized because, it's 19 rounds, 7.62, and that is high-powered ammunition. So what I can also tell you is that reference to one of our murders 2 weeks ago, I think, we have a suspect in custody. And the officers are at the stage now where, they are going to seek advice. So that is some good news coming out of the Tobago space, for the week in review, I will say.
Right, and always getting information in terms of having a suspect in custody is always comforting news, at least for the population. So we know that, not that we doubt your policing, we know that you are working, but to actually get a report that, one, you've recovered a firearm, which is a little bit troubling, but the fact that you've recovered it gives us a measure of comfort, and also that we have a suspect in custody gives us also that same measure of confidence in the policing, and also the comfort to know that you're actively working on our behalves. Yes. as an island here in Tobago to maintain that measure of safety for us. So we're moving on into the SMART campaign for Carnival.
Again, SMART meaning safety measures aimed at reducing threats. And we come here time and time, weekly, and we mention this Carnival period. We are urging our citizens, our persons who participate in the activities to be smart, meaning that to take all the initiatives to create that level of comfort. When you're in terms of your home, in terms of safety on the roadways. Yesterday, I must say that I was able to witness firsthand some kind of errant driving on the roadways. And, it came to my mind that we already started off the year with a double fatal. And I want to continue to urge the public to be smart whilst using the roadway. We know that there's a lot of traversing of traffic. That is one. In respect of your home, we continue to urge you to take measures in which to protect your property at home when you leave. Whether it be by installing CCTV, having some neighbor or somebody take care of your property, because people around this time, criminals take the opportunity to, they know that you wouldn't be home.
That's right.
So they will take this opportunity to pay a visit and have a field day. So those are some of the things that, we are urging persons whilst you go out of it. Make sure things are in place to protect your property, to protect yourself when you're on the roadway. If you are, again, moving with any, we advise you to move in groups. We advise you to stay in well-lit areas. We advise you to park in places where, you could easily access your vehicle. There are some persons who use their premises, in a sort of secure way that when you park, you may pay a fee. Try and take advantage of that during this carnival period.
I want to talk a little bit about the driving, especially because, and I want to pay particular attention to using the roundabouts, right? Because I have had experiences where I had the right of way approaching the roundabout, and my son who was in the car with me, or because I explained to him how the roundabout operates. And when we were approaching, the car on the left, which was supposed to give us the right of way because we are on the right, zoomed straight across, and he became anxious and he thought, oh my gosh, something is going to happen. So I want to address that and to ensure people understand the correct use of the roundabout. It doesn't matter the haste, the speed that you're in, or the urgency of getting to where you need to get to. We need to ensure that, we use the roundabout in a proper way, that it isn't a detriment to anybody, right? So just give us a little bit of how you use the roundabout in a way that is safe, the correct way to use the roundabouts.
Right. In a roundabout, there's a rule. The rule is give way to vehicles coming from the right, approaching from the right, and as you rightly said. So a lot of persons don't understand how to use a roundabout. And we continue to urge people to get familiar with the highway code and the traffic regulations. So if you are coming, say you're proceeding west, when you approach that Orkenskio roundabout, if there's a vehicle coming from Orkenskio side to turn into west, you have to wait to allow that vehicle to proceed. Likewise, if you're traveling east, any vehicle traveling west that needs to go across to the Orkenskio road, you need to allow the vehicle from the right to pass before you make your way through the roundabout. So it's something that we ask motorists to do, is to learn the process, look at the traffic regulations, look at the highway code, understand the drive, right? So that is something we ask people to do. Time and time again, we notice people going through and they don't understand it. So that is something that, people must tend to get more familiar with.
That's right. Because at the end of the day, you really want to, if you're talking about road safety, we need to know the road safety rules. We need to know how to operate on the roads, and we need to make sure that we employ the safest approach to using the roundabouts as well. We're talking about maintaining safety. It's something we always talk about on this show, maintaining safety at your property and the premises when you go out. We're talking about when you go out, how you behave, your behavior when you go out in numbers. You spoke about parking in areas where there's a subscription to park. So you pay a fee and you park, that there's safety there. There are some people, they would use that, and there are some people that will just put their cars wherever there's a spot. Can we address that situation?
Well, what I'm about to tell you is that, during Carnival time, there are traffic restrictions as well. We are urging people not to just park your car anywhere, because the police will be enforcing the traffic regulations. So if you park in an area where you are not supposed to park, the wrecker will do the rest. So, we are urging people as well to, there are some people just go in front of people's driveway and they'll block the road and all of that. We discourage that this carnival season. Don't do that, because the police are going to be out there to enforce that.
Yeah, because it really is an inconvenience, especially by driveways. And, sometimes you try as a responsible driver, you try not to, but then you see somebody pull up right in front of somebody's driveway. And it kind of, especially, let's say, for instance, I'm going to use school pickups, for instance. That's one of the major things where people just park anyway. Because, you're in a rush, you want to get things done. But we want our public to please, do the right thing, do the wise thing, and don't block entrances, fire hydrants. Some people just park in front of fire hydrants and things like that. And we want to maintain safety in this festive season where people will be reveling. People will be, your car is parked one way and then like you're miles off because you have to walk to get to the venue. So ensure that you put your car in a place that is convenient, not only to yourself, but to all the road users and to all the users of the properties and premises in the area where you are parking, right? And make sure you park in well-lit areas and areas of safety. Let's talk now about going out in numbers, the importance of going out together in numbers.
Well, there's always safety in numbers. So when you are going out with a group and you have at least, you may have somebody in charge of the group, that person will tend to look out for you, that when you go to your fete and your party and so on, that person will ensure that you are accounted for in terms of returning to your safe space. So this is something that we urge people to practice, especially now where the crime situation is a bit, in that sense where criminals look for opportunity. And once you could do anything to mitigate and minimize yourself becoming a target, that is what we urge. But, one thing I just want to add through this carnival period that I didn't mention before, there is the legal notice number 21 of 2024, which deals with prohibition of glass bottles in the public spaces throughout carnival. We also ask people to get, look up that information. This is where you are not supposed to have any glass bottle within that carnival designated area or public spaces unless you are an authorized person. So that is something that, we ask people to get the information about, and it is already published out there, so it is there. So note that if you have any beverages in glass bottle during that period, it will be taken away from you by the police and the protective services agency. So
if you attend an event where they sell beverages that are in glass bottles, how is that? Is it that they're supposed to pour it out?
Exactly, because the persons who have the license are the authorized persons, but they must follow the guidelines of the regulations, which says that you pour it out in a container that is not, glass, so that you could, your customers or whoever could be served with that container.
Again, to ensure that there's safety, because sometimes when you start drinking and you lose your inhibitions and something could happen and you might sail a bottle across somewhere.
And that is what the regulation is aimed at doing, is to minimize those instances where, those glass bottles lying up wrong could become weapons.
That's right.
So that is what is aimed at doing.
And in addition to that, now we pour in drinks into containers, right? Because we don't want the glass bottles. We want to address again, and I think it's something we need to continue to reiterate, in as much as we speak about it, people still fall victim to this or allow themselves to fall victim when, especially for females, it could happen to males as well, receiving drinks in containers that have been poured out when not outside of your presence. It's like you're not there, somebody bring a drink from the bar to you. How do we mitigate that situation to allow for, no sort of compromising your drink and stuff like that?
Again, you have a responsibility for yourself, self-preservation. So if you are attending these events and you may be at risk, yes, you may be at risk. You have to actually have that person you can trust to deal with it if you want somebody to pour your drink. In respect to the if it is that you are sending somebody to the bar, make sure it's somebody that is close to you, somebody who you know that you could have that level of trust. Other than that, get it yourself. And that is what we are asking in terms of, because you can be at risk if you just, random stranger come up and invite and say they want to buy a drink for you. That is a red flag. You know what I mean? So you have to have that, you have to do your due diligence in terms of knowing what you're doing out there this time.
That's right. And the next point I want to raise again, we want to go back to home safety. Persons who are going out, it could be people who are participating in the carnival events or persons who are going to camp, because there are people who go to camp as well and leave their homes unattended. So we want to reiterate the measures that we have to put in place to ensure the safety of our property when we go out to either the carnival events or to camping or whatever activities that take place at this particular time in this season.
Right. Notwithstanding that the police will pass through the many areas and so on to make sure that, all is well, you still have that responsibility. again, you can, if you are going out, even self as a neighbor or somebody to go periodically and check on your property, put that in place. Right? In respect to the camping, again, when these campers come to the island, the police will also pay them a visit wherever they are. So sometimes we ask that if you are in an area, notify the police that you are camping in that area just in the event something goes wrong, so that we can, implement measures in terms of dealing with safety issues if you are found in that situation. Again, we know a lot of people visit the beaches around these areas. We are trying to urge you as well, when you go to these beaches, make sure you ensure all the safety and regulation in terms before you go into the water, because you may be at a beach where no lifeguard and so on are in place, and you may put yourself at risk. So again, exercise that level of caution when you visit these areas.
That's right. As you rightfully said, it's about self-preservation. So knowing what is the right thing to do for yourself, for the safety of yourself, your family, your loved ones, and doing just that. And as we're talking about the events, carnival events, and people do a lot of different things. As I say, they go to the events, they go to camping, they go to the beaches, they go all over the place. What we want to maintain especially in the Tobago space, is that community type of behavior. You mentioned earlier when we spoke about securing your premises, a neighbor could throw an eye. Make sure everything is okay. If you see a stranger in the area lurking around, alert somebody. If you can't get onto the homeowner, you could probably call a police or something like that. What kind of things can they do?
Well, that is why I've continue to emphasize that, that neighborhood watch or put cameras in place, and again, when you do these things, it makes it easier for you. Also, if you know, let's say, always have some sort of emergency number in place, and the police number as well, because somebody might notify you and you need quick response. So have that in the back of your head to call either the 999, the 555. But in terms of your personal safety, again, it wouldn't be tough. I think you can't. I like the idea you talk about the community approach. This is what assists the police out here on a daily basis, And we find communities who are more engaged in partnering with the police. They usually get that level of quicker response, because everybody knows everybody, and it makes it more easy for the police within the community to access you. So again, try and get yourself aligned or acquainted with these organizations like our station councils, our community councils, youth clubs. All through, these are mediums in which, that faster level of communication to the police. Although we have a duty to protect and serve you, I think, it's important around this time to have more eyes and ears out there for you. So, that is something that, in fact, there are police officers who live within your community as well. Try and build that relation.
That's right.
Right? So those are things that simple things that you can do to sort of maximize your level of safety within your community. So those are some of the things we would encourage.
And we're going in next week, Monday. We will not be having this conversation on set because we would be in the height of the carnival activities on the road. How are you feeling? Where is the TTPS positioned to manage all the things that we spoke about as it relates to the activities for carnival in Tobago?
Well, what we recognize is the activities for carnival is a bit limited, but it doesn't mean we are all ready and raring to go. And there are some things that we need to finalize, but we already have our operational plan in place. So, in spite of where the event, we heard that Crown Point, Roxborough would have the Juve, Scarborough, whatever is happening, we will have the resources to police the areas.
So you feel quite confident in managing?
Of course I do.
All right, viewers. Thank you so much for always choosing us. Thank you so much for coming in and always giving that information and updates and restoring that measure of kind of safety and comfort and confidence in the policing, especially as we head into the season of reveling. TTPS reporting this morning, Superintendent Rodil Kirk giving us some insight as to where the TTPS is to take care of matters for that period in Tobago, and also giving given us some tips on how to keep ourselves and our properties safe for the carnival season. And even on a regular day, these are things that you should implement. It's a lifestyle change that we have to implement to ensure our safety, the safety of our neighbors, our children, and the generations to come, to ensure our communities are beautiful spaces once again. Thank you, Superintendent Rodale Kirk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the morning show ends, but we do not end our programming. We continue with GMT, so we want you to stay with us. And even as you stay with us and we go to this break before we return, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Let's get transformed together. A fitness program started under the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection to get its employees moving their bodies and eating healthier meals. After work during the week, staff participate in aerobics and dance sessions right on the division's compound. There are also hikes to various locations on the weekends or public holidays, and monthly weigh-in sessions.
I have been here from the beginning, but I mainly come on Tuesday. So I did the weigh-in and everything as well, and I'm enjoying the aerobic. It's excellent, right? So good workout. Her style is different, right? So you're getting the workout and I'm feeling it and she's pushing you to your limit. So I like the challenge. I want to let people know that after the workout, you feel so excellent. It's a way of losing weight. It's a way of controlling if you have any chronic disease, high blood pressure, sugar. It will help to keep them under control. So I encourage people to join.
I think it's a great initiative. Since that one of the leading causes of death in Trinidad and Tobago is obesity. So this initiative would really help out a lot of people.
I think it's a really great initiative because I believe since we push for health and healthy eating and healthy living, we should walk the walk, right? So we can't be the ones telling everybody we want to eat healthy, be healthier, and then we are not doing what we say that we telling people that they should do.
Even though we are office workers, we too face a lot of demands, a lot of stress levels during the day. So as I would have shared earlier, it's a nice way to unwind and de-stress before you get home to your various responsibilities. I would encourage you to Tobago House of Assembly to continue initiatives such as this, because working in healthcare, our mental and emotional health is something that is vital and the balance is critical.
We have a contest that goes along with it. Everybody took their way in to start. You checked your blood pressure to start. You check your numbers. And we want to measure the progress as we go along. We are professionals. This is the Division of Health. So we have dietitians who are monitoring the group, and they will do the checks every now and then to see, so you know how you're progressing, if you're losing any weight. Of course, weight loss is 20% exercise. Weight loss is 80% diet. So this is just the motivator.
This fitness and nutrition initiative is open to all employees of the Tobago House of Assembly. For more information about this program, visit the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection's Facebook page.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
you look normal. Girl, you look normal. Girl, you look normal. Girl, you look normal. Oh, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Girl, you know what you're doing. Big you waist with the eye contact. Girl, what's that? Look back. 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 Look back how it parts. Look back. Look back how it speed. Look back. Look back to the stars. Look back. Yeah.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Cats and Jammers is the BPTT National Panorama Champion in the Medium Conventional Band category 2024. They played Rocket, which was arranged by Kirsch Ramsey. Second place went to Pan Elders Steel Orchestra, who played Come Out to Play, arranged by Tobago's very own O.J. Richards, while third place went to NGC Couva Joylanders playing Soca Tati, arranged by Stephen West. The medium band finals took place at the Bacalet Parade grounds last night. Meanwhile, Marsha Montano and Michael Teja are among the 12 finalists for the National Calypso Monarch, which is set to take stage at the Marsh Gras 2024. The semi-finals held on Saturday at Skinner Park saw 40 Calypsonians competing, including 6 contenders from Tobago. While the Tobagonian contenders did not make it into the final, Tobago's Calypso Monarch, Dylan Thomas, will be competing among the 12 finalists having pre-qualified. Other finalists include Aaron Duncan, Brian London, Helen Francis, Karen Asher, Chucky Gordon, Stacey Sobers, and Winston Gypsy Peters. The Marsh Gras takes place on Carnival Sunday night at the Queen's Park, Savannah. And finally, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection assured the public that no food safety rules were being violated as chicken was dumped by the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company, TADCO. In response to a viral video of a chicken disposal, the division's Public Health Services Department conducted an exercise at TADCO's compound on February 2nd, disposing of expired chicken stored by other companies on site. Checks confirmed the poultry passed its expiry date and the exercise adhered to food safety standards. The division confirmed TADCO informed responsible companies about the expired chicken and contacted public health for assistance in disposal. They urge other suppliers to adhere to HACCP food safety practices as well. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds, and tune in for more details on these and other stories in a 6:30 p.m. newscast. And now, viewers, So for our first conversation, we're going to take you back to Thursday night actually, Thursday night into Friday morning, where we saw the wonderful displays of those interdepartment contenders on there. And first of all, one of those persons in particular is Mr. Personality himself, Mr. Dwayne White Jr., who is right next to me. But before we get into that conversation this morning, let's get into what was his performances and what got him the crown.
Let me tell you, stranger, pussycat is danger afraid.
Look outside. Come, kiss, kiss. Mwah. Take care, she right? Afraid, 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 pussy like me.
What is the real purpose for a pussy cat? No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the pussy cat that does purr, glide. You know, the ones that like to have their own way. So that ladder all you're climbing, you better come down from there. You see, I was following a conversation about diversifying the economy. You know, the world saying we're running out of oil money. So we strike gold when we start to invest in tourism. That just gives me more and more options. But then it hit me. What else we could do to raise with GDP? We need to adopt the ways of the world and sell pussy. Yes, I know. We market is England and Germany, so forth and so far, but don't forget we have to look at China, because over there, simple becomes luxury, just like that. Hence, worm, crapo, dog, placenta, and now, cat. But you see, in the Caribbean, they must skin up their face. Eating cat is a preposterous disgrace, but I bet you, all man Jack, go want to jump in the scene.
In the haunting realm of the Devil's Carnival, a malevolent figure known as Abaddon takes center stage. Assuming the ominous guise of a Jab Molassie, a spectral entity cloaked in shades of yellow, black, and gold. These colors serve as a potent symbol within the devil's domain, each carrying a weighty significance that mirrors Abaddon's nefarious influence. And treachery emphasizes the enigmatic allure of Abaddon as a Jab Molassie, hinting at the devil's seductive nature and a vibrant malevolence. Black, the color of shadow and obscurity, embodies the foreboding presence of the Jab Molassie. It symbolizes the inescapable embrace of darkness, signifying the spectral nature of Abaddon as a malevolent force that prowls the darkness recesses of carnival, ready to ensnare those who succumb to temptation. As the dark counterpart of Abyssinia, Abaddon the Jab Molassie harnesses the evocative symbolism of yellow, black, and gold to weave a mesmerizing tapestry of deceit and temptation, beckoning mortals to become ensnared with the spectral dance of the devil's carnival.
And that was the winning performances of Mr. Dwayne White Jr., the representative for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. So a special good morning and welcome to you. Of course, congratulations going out to you, Dwayne. How are you this morning?
Thank you. I'm fine this morning, you know. Yeah.
See you doing
the
champion way. All right, so you know you had a couple days for the wind to settle down on you. So how are you feeling now at this point in time?
Well, I mean, I'm feeling pretty normal, you know, back to normal. You know, after those 2 days of carnival, the assurance is back to normal. That's how it felt, you know. So a day of the winnings and back to normal schedule.
Now, of course, a lot of people might know you because you're one of our cultural icons here in Tobago. I would say an icon because you have been growing throughout the arts when it comes to acting, carnival arts, whatever it is. You've been doing exceptionally well for quite a number of years. Now, what motivated you to put yourself forward for into department?
Well, the question was asked if I can represent the division. I said, wait, this boy only and nobody else. Yeah, I say, well, I mean, me, always friendly doing, saying, yeah, that's no problem. But sure you nobody else? Yeah. I said, no. I said, well, all right, I know scene. I represent the division. So the question was posed to me and I accepted. Yeah.
So now when you went into, the game room now and trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to portray? What are my performances going to look like? What was that process like?
Yeah, I don't know what, I mean, people will say we're doing this so talented and, but I did not know what to do. I did not know what to do with my talent. And I mean, that may sound a little, shake, but doing my junior didn't know what to do for his talent. And I contacted my director, Rishon Peker, and we sat on it, and she came up with this question: what is the real purpose of a pussycat? Yeah, and I said, She said, and then we composed, came up with, brainstormed some ideas about the topic, and she composed this brilliant double entendre monologue.
And how long did it take for you guys to put it together?
I would say approximately like 2 to 3 days. Yeah? Yeah, 2 to 3 days. The final, I would say, are 2 days. Yeah, for me to settle in and with the changes and everything like that. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah.
Certainly. And then, of course, you're also a fire breather.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was almost only natural that you would pick a costume and it kind of sort of aligns with that.
Your strengths, yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about what went into your costume as well.
Well, certainly my hands. Yeah, so I helped when Marcus Devines and Afisha Moses Devines were the wire benders and fabricators of this winning piece. And I went up at their mass camp and, took a hand, as what we will say. And my mentor, he's also my mentor, Marcus Devines. So he told me, your costume is not yours unless I put your hand on it. Yeah? So I helped tape up whatever needed to be fixed. Not the major designs, but the little intricacies and what else it took. Just feeling how the weighty it is, how you to maneuver. Yeah? And I just go with the flow and performed.
Yeah, and we see you had a little bit of a competition with the wind on stage.
Yes. You have to when practicing this art of fire breathing, you have to pay respect and attention to the element of oil or the wind. Yeah. Always go with it, never go against it. And sometimes it was giving me a little dance, left and right. At first it was dancing only left. Yeah, and then it gave me a little shake on the right. So it had a little challenges, but I maneuvered it well. Yeah.
Now, and you chose Abyssinia, which is one of the traditional Tobago costumes and so on, and of course the colors themselves that went into it also have some meaning.
Yes.
So can you just tell us a little bit about those things?
Well, from this costume, this portrayal was called Abaddon, Prince of Demons, Angel of the Abyss. Now, I came up with this character through my research of Abyssinia, through more, I would say, interviews and digital research. They don't have much digital research about Hubert Cogwood Nichols, which is Abyssinia, aka Abyssinia. So I did some live interviews, finding out about his demeanor, how he used to carry about himself while portraying him as. And I say, as my ancestor, because that's my family for my mother's side in Nicholas.
Oh.
Yeah. As my ancestor, what can I do to bring justice to his legacy? And the only way I saw it fit is to, I would say, contemporize his tradition, to accommodate the youth in Tobago, to let them see what his mass was like in a more brighter form. So the black and the gold symbolizes royalty and resistance at the same time. Yeah?
So was the black and the gold some of the colors that he used back in the day?
Oh no, he used black.
He just
we
used
use
black.
charcoal. Yeah, to symbolize that rebellious action, resistance. And I just splice it in with a little contemporization with the gold to emphasize royalty.
Yes, certainly.
You know? Yeah.
Because, I mean, you were preparing yourself for the crown anyways.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, so you know, now that you had that portrayal out on stage, did you get what were the reactions that you got from people? What did they say to you afterwards and so on?
Wow. You know, like, so made that costume, way. I said the one and only. Yeah, Marcus Devines, man. So, they were pretty shocked. Some were shocked. Some were, it was a spectacle, not just a fire, but just the bigness of the costume was a spectacle for that event. And I even mentioned that it should be a contendant in Adam Smith Square, in Trinidad's traditional mass competition, because, come on, man, the costume can't just be hung up in the office. You know, a costume had to be worn and portrayed.
Certainly, and it's like I seen you there, and you just itching to take that out there on the road, and on the stage no more.
Yeah.
Now, you know, what you said a little bit earlier about just some of the history of Abyssinia and stuff, and seeing as how that is something that is traditional to Tobago Mass, and are you planning at all, or are you looking, or is it TPAC, I should say, in general? Because of course you're under the TPAC umbrella.
Yes.
But is this something that you guys are looking at reviving in a big way to get people in just a bit more knowledgeable about some of our traditional mass?
Yes. Well, I want to believe. Well, my hopes is that behind the administrative board that is the plan. I don't know exactly what is the plan as yet, but I would like to see ideas maybe constructing to get this on the road. Basically, I don't know exactly what is the plans, but for sure, I'm sure that there's something in the pipelines in discussions of taking it forward.
Certainly. Yeah. And then when you were doing some of your research about it, about Abyssinia and stuff, what was it like for them to portray that in the past?
What I was told is that he was really fierce. For them to portray it in the past, what I was told, it was, again, it's rooted in ritual. So I believe every traditional mass is rooted in ritual. The interviews I had about Abyssinia, his rituals were at home. Rituals of preparation, where his family helped him. Rituals of his presentation, calling Mr. Swazzle in hell. I mean, Opukuwari, the legendary living legend of Opukuwari, spoke about it in one of his articles long ago. Yeah, he used to call Mr. Swazzle in hell, to find out who left hell from Krapobak village on Tankabeen train. Yeah, and I'm sure some of the older folks listening to this will recollect, that presentation. So that's part of his ritual. The ritual stemming from then till now, it has changed a bit in terms of presentation, but the ritual in preparation still remains the same. In terms of you are smearing your body from your feet straight up to your head. You are endowing yourself in character. Now, I am a big advocate of endowing and becoming rather than portraying. Yeah. So, in terms of giving a true essence of this traditional mass. So, the ritual remains the same from then till now, but it tweaks a little bit. So.
And what attracted you to it?
The Jambalasi. Since that was talking back since 2007. Yeah, when I used to work culture, when culture was in GNV place. They did community development and culture, it was called. And then Glenda Rose Lane was my superior at the time, and I was watching these masquerades from Trinidad, because they used to hire a lot of masquerades, traditional masks from Trinidad to portray in Tobago. And I used to see, out of all of them, I gravitated to the Jambalasi. So, it's a calling. I believe it's a calling that gravitated me. Everyone have a mass calling. So my mass calling basically is in the traditional realm, Jambalasi mass. So something about it.
Yes, and of course that fire breathing. And we saw him on stage. We saw doing as if we can get enough of him on stage for the department. We saw him on stage quite a few times last night for Panorama. Being part of the theatrical performances of many of the bands from Tobago and from Trinidad.
Yes. It just had a run. I admit that just, as a performer, that is a life. Yeah, that is a life.
All right, so, as we're getting ready to wrap the interview this morning, you're wearing the crown for the next year. Do you have any words to say?
Well, I want to say thanks to the other contestants in the other divisions. It was fun. And I wish I can be a part of this process again, and maybe not in the same entity, but helping someone. To achieve this grade, to achieve this feeling. Yeah? All I want to say is when doing your talent, just, eat right, for retainance, and have fun on stage. Yeah? Have fun. Theater is all about fun and truth, living other people's truth, and having the audience appreciate that kind of entertainment. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a wonderful way to end this interview this morning on. Thank you so much, Dwayne.
Thank you,
and of course, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And enjoy you wearing your crown for the next year.
Thank you.
All right. So, viewers, so that's it for this. But don't worry, we've got a whole lot more coming up for you on GMT. So don't go anywhere.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
To
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are still sticking with the carnival theme this morning, but we're switching on to what's going on with mass, and there is a whole lot going on or not going on with mass. And for this conversation, we'll be speaking with Miss Avian Gordon, who is the band leader of Frolic Central Mass Band. And, you know, special good morning and welcome to you first of all.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Great. And now you're here on a sort of unfortunate circumstances because we're talking about your retirement from the Tobago Carnival.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So what happened is I just get a vibe that day that I think is just time enough with Carnival. I think I had enough, the 18 years, and because when I'm thinking that, you know, with time or with the introduction of October Carnival, there would have been a place for us creatives. I didn't see that there with trying to get my foot into the October Carnival season. And I say, well, okay, let me do February. I might take February as my last year and go into October next year. And let my players them know that, you know, okay, after this year, we're going to be taking part in October for 2024. But then I heard on the grapevine that they wasn't going to do any. So I said, let me wait and see. And, you know, when the first meeting with band leaders have, I'll find out, you know, listen to hear what's taking place. First I heard that they wasn't having any senior bands on Tuesday. So I was like, and that's like a month before Carnival actually happening. So I like, why we want to do this now? And they wanted no Juve in Scarborough. They was more focusing on the kids, which is a good thing. But the question is, why is it that 2 months before, not 2 months, a month before Carnival, or they want to just come and just lay this on the table? So I say, see, I don't have the energy for that. I think I should just take a back seat. But I think there's a way in which this spirit is run. And just how I started mass, waking up in the morning just to and just decide, have a little vision and decide, yeah, why bring in mass? I think they had enough. I mean, I had enough for the, if you understand what I'm saying.
Are you disappointed?
Not really. I am a very easygoing person, right? As they give me, I go, right? And conform to and try to go with rules and so on. But the timing, I was really disappointed in the timing in which they decide how the National Carnival would be run. And they're trying to divert us seniors into the October Carnival, but it had to have a plan for that, in the sense that senior band for February Mass in Tobago is done totally different compared to how Trinidad bands are run or Tobago bands are run.
And tell me a little bit, get into the details of that, how it is different.
Okay.
For those who are watching and may not understand.
Okay, I could only talk for myself, right?
Okay.
My early days, I used to keep band launches. And for the first 3 years, I find it used to take too much of money because when it's time to mass produce, there's another set of money had to come into play there. And having a band launch, you know, ticket sales mightn't be as expected, but you still want people to see your costume, so you're doing it. And from there, you know, you're doing marketing, you have your players. Now, trying to sell costumes is a task. You have your staunch players that will pay for the thing every year, but sometimes new players come in and it's either they fight on your price or they're getting a cheaper price someplace or they're getting it free. So in order to kind of make your numbers on the road, you have to kind of, you know,
make some
take
cuts.
what happened, where you get to thing. And there's a point in time when the grant comes, you know. I don't like to talk about grant period because everybody, money, when they hear money, they feel band leaders in Tobago. Money, I mean, money they want. I personally think when the grant comes, whenever it comes, if it comes, it has come at the perfect time for where things like your king and queen is concerned. Because that's the next set of money you have to study about steel bending, the material. Sometimes you buy a certain amount of materials and when you're actually mounting the costume, you realize you have to get more. And then you're talking about your drinks on the road. Well, business in Tobago and really sponsoring bars for bands for Tobago Carnival. Right, so that's the next talk. So you have to get your bus. So when that grant comes in, it usually comes in at the right time so that it will prepare me for Carnival on the road. So that's how my process goes.
Mm-hmm. And you know, so now that there's so much up in the air and there's so much confusion as to what's happening, you know, like what was the moment that you said that led you to decide that, you know what, it's time for me to just retire, cut my losses, and just take a back seat for now?
I don't think it's cut losses or anything. I think my purpose in mass is complete. I don't think anybody could understand it, right? That's something that I could only, know what I am going through. And because it's 18 years, and I think I should move on to something better, even if it is teaching what I know in wire bending. That is my moment to break that fighting up with all if it's mass, if money, this. I just think that I outgrow that.
All right. And now, when it comes to, you know, just the idea of what mass should look like for both February and for October, let's start with February itself. Now, we're seeing October happening. We're seeing the growth of that it's taken, and it's growing its own identity and everything like that. But how should February Carnival look like here in Tobago?
Okay, I think it should start in schools or with students from primary school to secondary school level, right? And maybe they have some sort of mass production, some kind of, making our costumes during the school term from like September to January and have them prepared for February. And, stick to traditional mass and children where February is concerned. And as February finish, we start to pump October. But the bands, the local bands that Tobago have, we don't have the support, like, the players as big as how certain bands have them. Right? So maybe these bands could have sections within the existing band, because Tobago is already a small place.
Yes.
And the big bands that it have out there that doing well good with the players and so on, I think the smaller bands should find a place within them that they could do their own design and be able to portray. Because like October last year, I find with what I was doing, I would not be able to, people would not be able to see the storyline behind what I was, trying to bring with my production. Having been in a cluster, you'd have been seeing people here, there, and all over the place. So that's one of the reasons why for October, I decided was to take a back step. But anytime we had to start from February, it's good to start with the kids, and October we end up with seniors and with pretty mass and all the feathers, beads, and fanciness.
And then what about the traditional mass? Where should traditional mass be?
I like tradition for February due to cruise ships coming in. Even when cruise ships come in and they have a little workshop, the mass camp working on these productions during that time to February. And them come visit the mass camps, make a little headpiece, a handpiece, even if it's the schools. They go to the schools and see what the students doing. They help them produce something. I think it should start in February or be in February. I don't think October is the place for that.
Now, do you think that Tobago could have that potential to be the place where you go now for, let's say, kiddies mass and for traditional mass?
Exactly. Because what happened, when you talk like Trinidad, kiddies carnival is usually like on a Saturday, right?
Yes.
So if we focus on having it Monday, Tuesday in Tobago, Monday kids, And Tuesday, tradition, strict tradition during the day, mud mass, all them, fandang, the minstrels, whatnot. But Monday, you know, we might think parents from Trinidad might be deciding, yeah, well, we're going for a little laid back carnival in Tobago. Let my kids play mass in Tobago. After they play Saturday, we come up Sunday and we play Monday again. So we could get 2 pieces of the pie there.
And it's safer and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, Tobago carnival is very safe. All the years, I know it's always safe.
And you know, so has these ideas, have they been voiced to the Festivals Commission and those in authority?
No. No. I've had this. And it's been my own little world. But what happened? I am was a member of the National Carnival Band Lead Association. So usually most of these talkings has been between our organization. But I wasn't in mass for like about 3 years. I take a little break and, you know, due to COVID and so on. So coming back into the mass now, I was expecting my foot back in a nice, but it's ending.
Do you think people understand really in Tobago especially, do you think they understand what it takes for a band leader to be able to put on mass for carnival?
No, and the thing is that, you see, I hope nobody vex with me, but band leaders make it hard for themselves too. Because for years, a lot of us not improving the product. And those who are, because it's so few, you ain't really hearing about them now. They're not really being seen. So it's always like, you know, they're giving the grants and they're improving their work. You're seeing 10 people on the road and why is it people in slippers? So we too had to be blamed for what's taking place now. So it's just that we had to take a step back, this carnival, wherever it is. Let's just go with the flow. And right after, we had to sit down and talk and see where, you see the culture, carnival culture itself, it dying. The craft, wire bending is only, oh my gosh, less than a handful in Tobago. And we just work together. The thing is, the people that we call each other, you had this, you had that, how to do this, how to do that. So you could use that group of people to develop the product because it have a product and mass in here. And it's totally different from any Caribbean island. So we had to find a way to put it out there. As how simple or they might think it may be, it have to have a way we should put it out.
When you say it's very different from the rest of the Caribbean, how is it different?
Okay, I don't like feathers, right? I just find something to create something out of something, right? And even the way in which they structure the costumes is not just all about bikini and beads. And I'm talking about the creatives. And when you listen to the storyline behind it, from the name of the section right through to, you know, the name of the presentation, right through to this section, we want to be able to have an opportunity to tell that story and not just play a mass on the road. And it could look good, yes, but the creatives, that story, the public had to know what I mean by that presentation that I do. Yeah.
And, you know, tell me about the relationship between that storytelling and Tobago culture.
Oh, gosh. I wonder if I could draw an example. I did a costume for Interdepartment, right? That was the most difficult storyline. The chief secretary, right? My question, when they came to me and they say the faces of the chief secretary with the Buku Reef, you know, Buku Reef, Tobago.
Yes.
I am like, how am I linking that together? But then I had to listen a little of each person in order for me hands to work, in order to give what it takes, what the storyline behind the costume. And it had difficult parts, and like one of the chief secretaries in particular was the most difficult to even find a picture of the person. So just how you create is how you know, the costuming, however, must say the storyline behind your synopsis. When you hear your synopsis, you must be able to look at the costume and say, oh, yeah, I've seen that. That's what she means. That is what.
You know, when you look back at your time playing mass and so on in Tobago, you know, what are you leaving the stage with? What are the memories that
I'm not leaving. I may not be bringing a mass band, but I cannot leave because it have Easter, it have heritage, it have so many other things.
Yes.
Even October, because if October come, well, October this year, if time come and I say, let me get a section, but to say bring a band per se, okay, Frolic Central Mass Band for National Carnival is no longer. And if it is, I have to take part in October, would be a section as a designer out of a band, and not necessarily a band with. I don't really have the energy for that. My focus right now is teaching the youths the craft. I think they are the ones of the future to really tell the tradition about what Tobago have where Carnival is concerned.
And if you will look back on your time as a mass band leader, like what do you think was one of the best years for being able to portray a mass?
Well, these are Paul's racing one boy. What year that was? I think it was 2012. I won Medium Band of the Year and also King of the Year. And that was my first costume I ever built. I built it out of steel. The judges were flabbergasted to see that I built a costume from steel that they just build house and to see how this man carry this costume. I think that was one of my best years ever taking part in Tobago Carnival.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, but don't worry, viewers. We'll be right back. So, yes, right after this few ads.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62-TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Ansa McCall Group.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs, carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation this morning with Miss Avian Gordon, who is a band leader of Frolic Central Mass Band. And they are unfortunately retiring as a band in Carnival for February, with especially with all the things that are happening lately. But it's not the end for Miss Avian Gordon in terms of mass. She's got a lot more in store. Of course, she said earlier that she is not leaving the stage. She's going to continue being a part of Carnival and so on, just not as a band leader.
Yeah.
But she has some other big things in mind.
Yeah, someone came from the US in October to look at the presentation because, I had them posted online and things. So when they came and they didn't see I was doing anything, they asked if I'm interested in having sections in 3 states in the United States. So I think between Atlanta, New York, and Baltimore Carnival, I'll be taking the 3 sections that I was planning to do for October Carnival to the United States. I can't leave them costumes in the mask and just stand up there doing nothing, man. I'll do something with them this year. So that is my plan for this year.
I mean, and then when you had that conversation and so on, what was your reactions that someone from outside who has been watching you?
No, the thing is, I bought masks in DC a couple times before, so they're familiar with my work. So as Tobago kind of have the October Carnival now, they decide to come back to see what others do here and stuff. So as I didn't do it, it was a disappointment. So it's just for me to go back into having sections in bands in the United States.
And then what is that experience like?
It's fun. It's a little different, right? That was with Brian Jordan. He was a nice fella. The experience was wonderful. Most of the persons who plays are either from Trinidad or Tobago, of course. You'll have 1 or 2 born American, but they, of course, have some Caribbean background. But yeah, it's a good experience. Very nice, yeah.
And then what do you see, happening out there on the international stage for band leaders like yourself who has it within you to create such beautiful masks?
Well, now I had to divert the way I'm doing business and not just think about, okay, I'm doing it for the love of it and now do it for the money now. So, because mass is money. So, it's sort of like investing in a band, in having a section, doing my sales, doing the mass production here, send them out. I don't even have to go every year. Send them out, get them sale, make my money from my stuff and, go from there. Yeah, it's a difference when you're having a section out of a band as to how February Carnival is one. February Carnival and the creatives, we're doing it for the love of it. It's not really for the money.
And I think people need to realize that too. It's like a lot of the balliness, it's really just for the love of it.
That is one national carnival. Anybody who questioning what February want, here is where the creatives, the lovers of carnival, who are really on the money scene. I'm happy for the assistance the government is giving because they're assistant. No grant could bring a ban. Some that's going to give the impression, but that's our next story. But no one can give a ban. Bring a ban. You understand? So February, National Carnival, Tobago, the band leaders doing mass just for the love of it. October is the place if you want an investment. The foreigners coming in to invest in bands here, let we go day. But we will just want a room for us in the creatives in the October.
Certainly. And when you spoke to your members and so on and the ones that normally play with you, were they disappointed that you're pulling out?
When I surprised them with a little post I put now. But they know how I just move to, they understand me. I got explained to them, they might feel a little hurt, but anytime I'm having anything, I know I'll include them and I show a lot of them are kids now. And I link in with Shireen from Tie-Dye City so they could send them out for February Carnival and support. Yeah.
All right, so at least you're still in the game.
Yes.
I mean, some of your artists still going to be out there, that's definitely what we want to see.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, and viewers, Miss Avian Gordon, she really has been putting out some beautiful masks, especially when it comes to the kings and the queens and so on. She's been doing quite a lot. She has been doing. She's not just trying. She has been doing over the years because I've seen it over the years. I mean, it's such a beautiful mask, and this is just one of the many people that we have within our space that's been doing well. But we have to get that carnival story good, and it cannot be a last-minute decision.
Exactly. Yes. The preparation into the carnival is sometimes all March, February as carnival done, you start thinking, what you're doing, and because how money flow to it when some others have, jobs, monthly jobs, so they use when the month end come, they'll start buying the materials and start putting them stuff together to prepare for February.
Yes. So, and then, if we are going to change anything about the carnival and even how it's going to be, we should know about it ahead of time.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Because, what do you think is a sufficient amount of time for band leaders to be able to prepare? Whether the decision is, let's go with kiddies, let's go with traditional, what is a sufficient amount of time?
I think a band should start from about May, June, you put your drawings into play, your prototype, you price your prototypes, and then like from September through Christmas, because I used to not have a Christmas. I don't know nothing about Christmas back then. That is where your mass production come. So when January into February, your preparation for your king and queen, and then you do your presentation on the road.
All right. And definitely not a few weeks before Carnival.
Oh no. Not even a month. It can't.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Ms. Avian Gordon, for joining us this morning and giving us an update on what's been happening with Frolic Central Mass. I mean, it's so disappointing that we're not going to see you out in full on the road, but we can still see you.
Oh, yes, definitely.
See some elements in other places. I want to thank you so much for being on with us, and best of luck, certainly, in your future endeavors.
Yes, thank you.
All right, viewers. Well, that's how we're going to have to wrap our show this morning. We just want to thank you for joining us and look forward to, just some developments, especially where mass is concerned, and talking specifically about a little protest that's being planned by some of the Tobago mass band leaders this morning, because, like I said, they're not too happy with the way things are being planned for Carnival. A lot of last-minute decisions are being dropped on the band leaders, and they are finding it difficult to kind of fit in between and to, make sure we could still have a good show on the road for February Carnival here in Tobago. And it speaks to the need to have the conversations with the relevant stakeholders in a decent amount of time so that we can work all the details. Even if we don't always agree on all the decisions, at least give people the chance to be able to work out the details and be able to still put together a good show on the road. But we're going to see what's going to be happening with the protest, and us here at Tobago Update is going to have you covered. And you can always look out for what's happening in our newscast at 6:30 in the evening, where we would have all those details for you and more. So thank you again for joining us. Have a safe and wonderful day, and we'll see you again later.
Tobago updates.